Hello guys, welcome to this video. So I'm going to be looking at number 3 aspect of the Waec practicals May June 2024. The question says table 1 was created using Microsoft Access application. Use the table to carry out the tasks 3A to 3F. All right, so let's look at 3A. Use a database application to create a database named library. Create a student table shown in table 1. Okay, so we're going to create this table. What is necessary saying that we're going to create this table now? I'd already created the table, to be honest, which I've done here, but I'm going to simply show you how you're going to create this table, right? Because this is why I've done this before, is to be able to not waste time actually. So what I'm going to do, let me just go to my folder here. So what you want to do, you want to right click and then you want to go to new, and then this is one way to do it. Actually, there are a couple of ways you can actually do that. So now you can give this particular database library, you can call the name of this database library, which I've already done here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to open it. So what I'm trying to do is to show you how you can do that. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to create the student table, right? So one thing I can do is to go to create, and then I'll go to table. Okay, let me just use table design here so that I'll be able to create my data types. So one of the things, so you can give all the data, all the fields, the data type of text, right? So I have students. So the first one is student IDs, ST. So I'm going to call it S. Okay, in capital letter, please. std underscore id. So of course you're going to give it text, which is fine. And then the second one will be student name, std name. So std underscore name. The next one will be class book name. So you have class here, and then the next one will be book name, book underscore name. And then the next one will be issue date and due date. So I'm going to call it issue underscore date, and then due underscore date. All right. So retirement date, I guess RTD underscore date. Okay, so I'm going to give it by default that type of text, because all of them are actually text, right? So to be on the safer side. So when you must have done this, you can go back to the datasheet view and save your changes. Yes, I want to save my changes. And then of course you can give the name of the, now here you can give the name of the table. The name of the table is student table, so I can call it student table, student table, right? And then I can okay that here. There is no primary key. Is there any primary key right there? Let me see. It can be a primary key, but the question never said that I can give it. There's no primary key. Although a primary key isn't required, it's highly recommended. Do you want to create a primary key? No, I'll leave it like that. Okay, the question never said I should create a primary key. You should give anything primary key, so we're just going to leave it like that. Okay. Right, so the next thing you want to do is to populate the table, right? So you want to be able to, so the first std, which I think is the primary key, but the question never said we should give anything primary key. So T100, T100, and then the next one, name should be, what's it called, Adewale. So name should be Adewale. Am I correct here? Yeah. Okay, so you can continue to fill up the whole table, and then that's how I got to this point, this one. Okay, so let me just open this one. So that's how I was able to fill up this, and then I was able to get this, right? So I don't think there's anything I missed. So you just fill up the table, and then that's how I got this table. Okay, I've given the name. Now meanwhile, you can actually, for some reason, if you made a mistake in giving this table a name, you can right click here and then go to rename. So you can give it, you can't rename the database object student while it's open. Okay, Good. So for you to be able to rename it, you have to close it and then right click and then rename. So you can actually rename it if you want to. Okay, good stuff. So I don't think I'm missing anything, so I can just proceed to number C. So the C says generate a query showing the records of the student whose due date elapsed on 22/06/2024 and name it default as. Okay, so we're going to generate a query. So this question is telling us to generate a query, right? So what you want to do is to simply go to create, and then you want to go to a query wizard here. Okay, simple query, yes, okay, that. Okay, so of course you want to base your query on the table, which is of course the only table. So you want to move all your fields to the right by clicking on this double arrow here, and then next. Now, what title do you want for your query? From the question here, the name of the query will be default as, right? So I'm going to give it default as. Okay. As a matter of fact, you can still change the name later on if you want to. So default as. So that's what I'm going to give it, and then I'll finish. Okay. So this is a query that you've created, right? Called default as. And if you look at the left pane here, you see that your query has been created, and then your query is the one that's open. Even though it looks like a table, it's a table, but it's a query actually, right? Good. So the next thing you want to do is actually to query the table accordingly to give you where records of the student whose due date is actually this, where it is 22/06/2024. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to go to home tab, you want to get to design view, because that's where you can do that. So under where due date is elapsed. Okay, so under due date, so where is due date here? So due date is here. So you want to make sure that you are on the the criteria row under due date. So you want to type equals 22, sorry, is it 22? Let me see. 22/06/2024. So that's what exactly the result you want. So you can go ahead to run the query and see that it produces due date of 22/06/2024. Okay, for the due date, and that's the result of the query. All right. So it's going to query the table and then produce the appropriate, result. So that's for that. What's this? Okay, thickness, you can increase thickness. Okay, good stuff. Okay, highlighter. Let me just use highlighter. That's fine for me. Okay, so here we're done with everything, the C part. So the next one is the D part. Insert a footer and type in your full name. Okay, so for us to be able to insert a footer that will have our name, it is important that what this question is actually trying to tell you is to create a report that will be based on this query. So I'm going to save my query. By the way, everything that I've been doing here, there are other ways that it can be done. So if there's another way you know how to do it, is fine. Okay, so I'll close this my query here, which is default as. Now I'm going to create a report based on the default as query, right? So I'm going to go to create. You want to click on the report wizard. Now my report will be based on the query that has been created, not the table. Okay, so you want to go next, because the query has been more like filtered, right? So I'm expecting about 3 records. So I'm going to go next here, next. Next, I don't need to do anything here, so I'm going to leave it as a portrait orientation. The question never said whether we should make it landscape or portrait, so I'm going to leave it as default, but make sure that you check this, adjust the field width so all fields fit on a single page. So it is actually important, so make sure it's checked. So you can go next. Now, what's the name of the report? Print the report showing, see that? So that shows you that you need to create a report. Print the report showing the photos and the student table, right? So First of all, let's go ahead to insert our name in the report. First of all, I'm going to leave it as default as, right? And then I'm going to finish. So this is how your report will look like. Let it load. Let me see. Okay, our report has been created. Now the report has been created with about 3 records. Now, one of the things you will see is that the labels or the text are not showing very well in each field. As you can see, the the hash signs. So what you can do here is to close your print preview. You want to get to the layout view. From the layout view here, what you want to do is to adjust the fields, right? So you want to click on this particular SD student ID, and then you hold down your control key, and then you click on the details, right? And then you can resize this a bit just to make space. Okay, click on STD names, hold down your control key, click on the details, and then remove your hand from the control key, and then you'll be able to adjust to the left. Okay, because we're trying to create space for the ones that are not showing very well, right? For the fields that are not showing properly. Okay, so click on book name, hold down your control key, click on the details, then shift to the left. Okay, good. Click on this one, hold down control key, click on the details. Oops, do that same thing and then move it to the left. Okay, now the next one is this. Click and hold control key and remove your hand, and then shift it to the left also, just to create space. Then click on this one, hold down control key, click on the details, remove your hand from control key, and then move again to the left. Okay, so now it's going to contain on one sheet portrait. Okay, nice. So this is it here. So for me to add my information, so for the printout, my information should be there. So what you want to do is you want to click on report layout here, and then go back to design view. Okay, now for me to add my name, you want to do it on the page footer here. So what I'm going to do, anything you add on the report footer will appear on the last page. So if you have like 3 pages or something like that, if you add anything here, it's going to appear on the last page. So I'm not going to meddle with this. So where you will need to meddle with is the page footer. That's what will appear on every page, assuming you have multiple pages. So what you want to do, so let me take it back. You want to just hover over the line here, and you see this arrow, a cross arrow here. Click on it, hold it and drag down just to create space where you're going to add your name. Okay, so now you've created the space. All right, so what you want to do is to go to report design. On the report design, you want to click on label here, and then click and drag across here to create yourself a text box to add your information. So I'm going to have my name here. My name is Ikechukwu Anolefo here. So that's what I'm going to put there. They never said that you should put your exam number or something like that. So this is what I'm going to have. Okay, so when you must have done that, you can go to print preview and then see how your printout will be. So if I hover down to the last page here, you will see that my name will appear on the page, right? So don't be tempted to put your name write your name using a pen. Okay, I don't think that you be considered. You might get 0. Okay, so it's important that your name is there. Okay, so let me see. So I'm going to actually exit here and then go back to layout view. So let me see. So now we've added, so as far as I'm concerned, the D part is done. All right, So I've added the, what's it called? I've inserted the footer, and then I've typed in my full name. Okay. So the next E is print out the report showing the defaulters and the student table. Okay. So the defaulters. So let me even check something. So this is the defaulters here. The defaulters are 3 students, and of course, so let me call this okay, I can leave it as defaulters, the heading as defaulters. So you can actually change the name of the defaulters is fine. So I can call it a student, something like that. You can give it student, and then something like this, defaulter, something like that. So it doesn't matter. You can just leave it like that, depending on what you want. The question never specified what the title will be, so I'm gonna just leave it like that. Okay, so these are the defaulters, right? Good. And I don't even think if you don't put the title, I wouldn't think if you be penalized, because it wasn't strictly mentioned in the question. So, but I'm going to leave it like that to make sense, right? So F will say submit the printout to the supervisor. Okay, so when I must have submitted this printout to the supervisor, because they already told me to print, so I can go ahead. Let me just, in fact, go ahead to print. Waec. So let me go and print. So I'll go to view and then print preview. So from here you can go ahead to print. Okay, you can go ahead to print. So I can print to PDF if I want to, whatever. So that's it. So now, but the caveat here, if you see the question, submit the printout to the supervisor. Note, your printout must be justified. Show only student name, a class book name, class book name, issue date, due date, and return date. Okay, and return date. So what we're going to do here, I don't know if I should go ahead to write these student names in full, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it like that. So we want to go back and then see that this, look at this here, the S, that is the student ID, is not required in our final printout. So for some reason, if you must have printed the first one, then you could come back and make sure that the field student name is not on your final printout. So what the need on your final printout will be, let me just move it to this side. It will be student name, class, book name, right? Book name, issue date. Do I have it there? Issue date, yes. Due date, and then return date, right? So which means that we need to remove the SD what's it called, student ID. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on that student ID heading, hold down my control key, click on this. So make sure that you're in layout view, just press delete button, so that will remove it. So what you want to do is to make sure that you justify the distribution of the the fields and the details. So what I'm going to do here is making sure that everything fits very well. So I'm going to shift this one to the left a bit. Okay, so balance out everything. So that's what they mean by justification. So I'm going to shift it to be evenly distributed. So I think this is fine to me. So this is fine. All right, so once you must have done this, so this is the final result. You can go ahead to print preview, and then you can go ahead to print your work. Okay, so you have to make sure that your name appear on the printout. Okay, I think that's about it for this video. So for some reason they didn't ask us to add our information, our candidate number or something like that for some reason. So but okay, the question never says so, but I think I will do that because I think it's very necessary. So I'm going to go back to design view. I want to add a comma here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I'm going to this will serve as my number, my candidate number, just for the sake of it. I think it's important that you add your number too, even though your name is there. It's possible that you can bear the same name with maybe somebody else somewhere. So reasonably, I think you should add it, right? Good. There are a lot of loopholes in this question, so if you're not really grounded, I think the question wouldn't make complete sense. But Waec, I think Waec can do better than this, actually, in my own opinion. All right, so you can go ahead to now print your work. All right, so thank you very much, guys. If there's any question that you have, you can leave a comment down below. By the way, for this whole paper, I'm going to leave a link in the description below, so in case if you need the finished work. So I'm going to leave this this database. I'm going to leave a link for you to download the first question, second question, and third question in case you want to use it for something else. Okay, so thank you very much. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.